Hey, I'm Sarah Reeves, and you're watching my iHeartRadio Ask Anything Chat. Special thanks to Romeo and Most Requested Live for having me on the show to chat about my new song, Cloud 9. All right, Alexa from Akron, New York says you have a very cool name. Are you named after someone in your family? Well, thank you. I feel like my name is very simple and very common in the US. I know so many Sarahs. I feel like every time I'm out in public, I hear my name and I turn because it's such a common name in America. But I still love it. And I'm not named after anyone in my family. I just know that my parents loved the name Sarah. My middle name is Elizabeth, so they named me Sarah Elizabeth Reeves. Gabby from Warwick, Maryland says, what's your favorite go-to drink? My favorite go-to drink, it depends on the time of day. In the morning, it is definitely coffee. I love coffee. I have to have it first thing in the morning. I'm definitely addicted to it. I have the Ninja Cafe Luxe machine. I just got it like probably 6 months ago. And it wakes me up every morning because I get so excited about making my own. I usually do coffee in the morning, and then in the afternoons I make like a oat milk latte, which is so yummy with a little bit of honey. So I would say that's my go-to drink is coffee or oat milk latte, or if we're not talking coffee, probably anything with ginger and lemon in it. So hot water with ginger, lemon, maybe some honey and mint. Penny from Lansing, Michigan. When you were a kid, how long would it take you to run home from school? Well, a long time, because we lived probably 20 minutes from my elementary school. So we always rode the bus, and I just remember that my brother and I, we were the first ones, one of the first ones to get on the bus and one of the last ones to get off the bus. So it was a very long bus ride for us. It would take me a while to run home from the school. Brittany from Knoxville, Tennessee says, how did you make your way to Nashville? Well, I grew up in Alabama, North Alabama. So I actually was about an hour and a half from Nashville growing up. And I always just remember saying, I want to live in Nashville one day. My parents and I and my family, we would go and visit for Christmas and just other holidays. We would drive up there, and I just remember feeling such a creative energy there. And, I wanted to eventually get a record deal and be a singer-songwriter, and that's where it kind of all happened. And so I eventually made my way up there when I was 18, and I signed my first record deal when I was 18 in Nashville. And it was a dream come true. Everything happened pretty fast. I started touring a lot, and just really found my people there, and people that I loved to create with, and also just great friends that are now lifelong friends. And my heart, even though I just moved to Texas last year, my heart, part of my heart will always be in Nashville. I love it. Casey from New York City says, what accessories would a Sarah Reeves action figure come with? That is a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that question before. Let's see. Probably some headphones, because I'm a producer as well as a singer-songwriter, so I've got to have some headphones and maybe a microphone. And I love like dainty jewelry, so maybe like a necklace with a cross on it or something. And let's just say like a little mini keyboard somewhere in there, because that's where I make all my tracks from. Haley from Columbus, Ohio says, when did you start singing? What songs did you learn first? I started singing when I was probably 12 years old, and I grew up in the church. My family, they were all about going to church on every Sunday morning and Wednesday night, so I was always there. And I was listening to a lot of gospel music. I remember my first concert was an artist named Rebecca St. James. She was a Christian artist, and I was probably 10 or 11, and I remember my dad, he used to take me out on these little daddy-daughter dates, and we were in the very back of the auditorium, and I was so short, and he put me up on the seat in front of him, and I just stood there and I watched her in awe, and I was like, that is what I want to do with my life, is be a singer and perform. And so I got all of her tapes and her CDs. I'm definitely showing my age right now, but I would have my little karaoke machine and learn all of her music. And really from there, just started opening my ears up to other music and just loving it and realizing that I had that gift at a young age. Because I loved it so much. So, and my dad also kind of pushed me into that because he was a musician himself and a vocalist and a guitar player, and he was in the whole Muscle Shoals era of music, and so he grew up with that, and so he kind of passed that on to me and my siblings. We all made music together. It was fun. Lauren from Athens, Alabama says, have you been to the Buc-ee's in Athens? Yes, Athens is where I grew up, and they put a Buc-ee's in Athens. Now, it was actually recent, so it was after I moved to Nashville and then moved to Texas, but I have been there a couple times. I don't love crowds. Usually I'm on the road. I'm ready to just get to my destination, but when I see a Buc-ee's, they have really huge bathrooms, which is nice, and they're always clean. But there's always a ton of people, but you have to go to a Buc-ee's. If you see one, you just have to. So yes, I've been there, and yes, it is definitely a thing in America. Darla from Lexington, Kentucky says, favorite memory from high school? Oh my goodness. Well, I went to a really small high school because I was in a really small town, and my parents, they put me in a brand new private school, right when I opened. So there was 3 people in my class, no joke. And it was a lot of fun. I actually liked it because it was small. And so I just remember my friends were my best friends, and I just remember laughing a lot. We had so many inside jokes, and it was a lot of fun just being in a small town. And I played basketball, and I was a cheerleader, and so we had a lot of fun moments. And then I asked my parents if I could homeschool when it was my junior and senior year, because I wanted to just put all of me into music, and they actually let me do that. And so I did a lot of my schooling from home and poured myself into the music. So I started music really young. So honestly, I'm really thankful that they allowed me to do that. But I missed out on some things in the meantime, but took some sacrifice, but I'm still glad that I did that. Samantha from Nashville, Tennessee says, if there was a Sarah Reeves museum, what piece of memorabilia would you contribute? That is a great question. I actually have kept my clothes that I've toured in, big tours that I've done. I have kept my clothes just to have as memory. And also, I just remember when I was a kid, I would always get my mom's dance uniforms, and I would put them on with my friends. And I thought one day, if and when I have a daughter, I would love to just have my little clothes, uniforms that I've worn on my tours over the years, and have her be able to dress up in them, because I think that would be fun. So maybe I would contribute 1 or 2 of my outfits to my museum. That would be cool. Carla from Norfolk, Virginia. What is the main theme you want to carry out with Cloud9? Well, I think this song is just very lighthearted and joyful and fun. I'm working on an album right now that will be out next year in May, and there's so many songs that I love, and a lot of them have these really powerful, meaningful, deep messages about my life and just some of the things that I've experienced on my journey, and which I love those kind of songs. Those are my favorite songs to write. But Cloud9 really is one of the few that is just like nothing but fun. Like there's no real, oh, this is the meaning, this is the story behind it. It was just like, hey, let's write a fun dance song. And sometimes I think those are the best songs to put out in the world because people need it. You know, there's a lot of sadness in the world, and we need songs that are fun and lighthearted. And so that's kind of the theme of Cloud9. Well, thanks again for watching my Ask Anything chat. My new song is called Cloud9, and special thanks to Romeo and Most Requested Live for having me on the show tonight to answer your questions. Much love. God bless.